Hi there! Welcome to Kin and Gap Paranormal Tales, where we like to talk about things that go bump in the night, scary folklores, urban legends, paranormal occurrences, and historical haunting across the world. And I'm your host, Kin. Tonight, we are traveling to Thailand to discuss an entity that is as beloved as it is feared. A being that blurs the line between a protective household god and a product of horrific necromancy. We are talking about the Kumanthong, the golden boy. If you have ever walked into a Thai business, a shop, or even some homes, you might have seen a small gilded statue of a young boy, usually in traditional clothing. Sometimes he's smiling, holding a bag of gold. Other times he looks more solemn. The owner might have placed offering in front of him, toys, candies, and almost always a bottle of bright red Fanta with a straw. To the casual observer, it looks like a cute, quirky folk tradition. But the story behind how the original Kumanthong were created is one of the darkest, most shocking tales in the supernatural. It involved surgical extraction, ritual roasting, and binding the soul of an unborn child to serve a living master. Let's get into it. So, let's define exactly what a Kumanthong is. The name comes from Pali and Thai. Kumans means young boy, and Thong means golden, so golden boy. The Kumanthong is not a Buddhist entity, even though the practice has become heavily intertwined with folk Buddhism in Thailand. Instead, it originated from Thai animism, the belief that everything, even inanimate objects, possesses a spirit. The Kumanthong is essentially a household deity or a familiar spirit, meant to bring luck, fortune, and wealth to its owner. In exchange, the owner must care for it as if were their own living child. It's a pact. The spirit of the child, having died a premature and often violent or tragic death, is adopted by the practitioner. The master gives the spirit a home, food, and love, and in return, the spirit uses its supernatural abilities to guard the property, attract customers to a business, and even warn the owner of impending danger. Some say they can whisper secrets to their masters in dreams or act as a magical shield against black magic. But as we know, in the world of the supernatural, power always comes with a price. And the original method of creating this golden boy is far from the innocent image of a child holding gold. It is pure necromancy. To understand the Kumanthong, we have to look at the legendary tale that popularized it. The story is found in the classic Thai literacy work, Khun Phaen, an epic poem originating in the Ayutthaya period, 14th to the 18th century. The protagonist, Khun Phaen, is a powerful warrior and a sorcerer. One of the Khun Phaen's wives, Buakli, was the daughter of a bandit leader. The leader, fearing Khun Phaen's power, ordered Buakli to poison him. Khun Phaen, using his magical intuition, discovered the plot. In a moment of devastating rage and cold magical pragmatism, he made a horrific choice. While Buakli lay sleeping and heavily pregnant with his son, Khun Phaen unalived her. He did not let her child die with her. Using his sorcery-trained blade, he surgically cut the unborn fetus from her womb. Khun Phaen took the body of his unborn son to a temple cemetery. He didn't bury him. Instead, he started a sacred fire and while chanting potent black magic incantation from ancient manuscript, he roasted the fetus until it was completely desiccated. Once the tiny body was dried, Khun Phaen painted it with a yalak, a sacred black lacquer used to consecrate magical items, and then completely covered it in gold leaf. He had created his perfect Kumanthong, a spirit that would not be bound by a physical body's needs, a son who would travel with him everywhere, a being with the ultimate innocence of a child and the ultimate power of a spirit born of violence. He called him his golden child. This legend provided the template for the true ancient necromantic Kumanthong. In the centuries that followed, witch doctors and masters of the occult, known as Sayasat, sought to replicate Khun Phaen's success. The recipe for the most powerful Kumanthong, found in age-old manuscripts, required specific horrific ingredients: a male fetus that died in the womb on a Saturday or Tuesday, extracted via caesarean section from its deceased mother, and roasted in a cemetery before dawn while the practitioner commanded its soul. We must be very clear. This ancient method is illegal and considered a grave taboo in modern-day Thailand. Using human remains for this ritual can lead to severe criminal charges. The Thai government and mainstream Buddhist authorities strongly condemn the practice. Despite this, the demand for authentic Kumanthong never truly disappeared. This has created a modern crisis. In 2012, a Taiwanese-born Singaporean citizen was arrested in Bangkok with 6 roasted male human fetuses covered in gold leaf. He confessed he bought them from a broker for roughly 6,500 USD and intended to smuggle them into Taiwan, where he could have sold them for 6 times more that amount. Even more disturbing, police found 15 other fetuses in a house linked to the broker, which was eventually connected to a nurse working at an illegal abortion clinic. This is the modern, grim reality of the extreme occult trade. However, most Kumanthong you see today are not made this way. As society developed, Sayasat masters had to adapt to recipe, to something less illegal but still magically potent. This led to the creation of the modern Kumanthong statue or amulet. These modern figures are typically made of sacred clay or soil. The formula varies by master, but it must contain materials already infused with mystical energy. One famous maker, Luang Pu Yam of Wat Sam Ngam, used a clay mixed with earth from 7 cemeteries representing death and spirit world connection. Earth from 7 sacred caves, place of spiritual power, ashes of home, cremated remains of deceased children representing the physical link through this path is highly controversial and often replaced with other ashes now. Once the statue is formed and baked, a high-ranking monk or master performs the Pluksek awakening ritual. They chant incantation to invite wandering child spirit, one who has died and has no family to care for it, to enter the statue. They give the spirit a name, bind it with rules, and activate its 4 elements to bring it to life. This is considered a compassionate act by the master, as they provide a path for the spirit to accumulate merit through service and eventually reincarnate. So, now that you have adopted your Kumanthong, how do you take care of him? This is where the practice truly feels like raising a ghost child. You must treat them with respect and love. You place them on a dedicated shelf, but it must be lower than any Buddha images or statue of monks in your home. You are their new parents. You must talk to them daily, say good morning and good night, and tell them when you are leaving and when you return, inviting them to come with you or stay and guard the house. You provide daily offerings. Nam Dang, red water, crucially red Fanta, is the modern standard. Some say it represents the blood of life. Others say child spirits simply prefer the bright color and sweet taste. It must have a straw, rice and a boiled egg, candies, sweets, and occasionally small toys. These sound endearing, but the warnings are severe. If you neglect your Kumanthong, if you forget to feed him, or if you treat him like a tool rather than a child, he will throw a spirit world tantrum. This isn't a broken vase. This is supernatural disruption. Owners who have neglected their Kumanthong have reported hearing the sound of a crying child in the empty house, finding their belongings move, and experiencing persistent back and joint pain, as if something heavy is clinging to them. In extreme cases, a wild Kumanthong can even become malicious, driving its owner to bankruptcy or madness. And we must acknowledge the different types. The genuine Sayasat schools classify Kumanthong into two primary categories, based on the source of the spirit and the intention. Metta Kuman. This is the common benevolent type. Its purpose is to attract charm, metta, and fortune, choklap, and to provide protection. It is seen as a lucky companion. Prai Kuman. This type is more ferocious horang. These are created using the spirits of children who died in very violent circumstances or from unnatural deaths, such as an accident. Their spirits are much stronger and more volatile. Prai Kuman were traditionally used for more aggressive magic destroying enemies, causing harm or gaining extreme wealth at a serious cost. Some masters warn that Prai Kuman must be handled only by expert sorcerers or they will destroy their owners. Before we move on, we have to discuss a modern Thai phenomenon that is the spiritual successor to the Kumanthong, the Thep or child angel. This craze took over Thailand around 2015. The Thep are hyper-realistic, factory-made vinyl dolls. They are not the traditional gilded statues, nor are they associated with human remains. However, they are blessed in the same manner by high-ranking monks and masters. Chants are used to invite a low-level angel or celestial spirits to reside within the doll. It was the ultimate merging of modern consumerism and traditional belief. People believe that caring for a Thep would bring them a miraculous level of good luck. At its peak, Thai Airlines offered dedicated seats and meals for these dolls. This created a huge controversy, with many seeing it as an extreme superstition and others defending it as a modern evolution of the Kumanthong faith. This initial mania has faded, but you still see them, though more discreetly, in modern Thai society. Now, we come to the part of the evening where we explore the non-encounters. The internet is filled with forums and personal blogs where owners of Kumanthong share their experiences, both the good and the deeply disturbing. I have aggregated some of these to give you a sense of what it's like to live with a golden boy. One account from a small shop owner in Chiang Mai says she purchased her Kumanthong from a reputable temple when her bakery was failing. She gave him the name Ploy, and cared for him religiously, she started noticing strange coincidences. A client who came in looking angry and ready to complain would suddenly change their demeanor and make a large order. When she forgot to lift out a toy Ploy had requested in a dream, she woke up to find her own car keys missing, only to find them later that evening in Ploy's tiny gilded palm. Her business didn't just survive, it thrived. She swears she has never seen Ploy, but she always feels a warm presence, like a protective younger brother watching over her. Another story posted to an occult forum is a warning. A young man living alone brought a modern Kumanthong into his apartment. He was diligent at first, but a few months in, he got busy and began neglecting the offerings. He would go days without refreshing the red Fanta. The activity started. He would be sleeping and wake up to the feeling of being pinched on his arms and legs. He would turn on the lights, but nothing was there. He started hearing small, rhythmic thumping sounds against his wall at 3 a.m. He began experiencing sudden, debilitating bout of stomach pain that doctors could not explain. He only made the connection when he realized the Kumanthong's toy train had been moving, inches at a time, across his bedroom dresser, night after night, as if someone were trying to play with it. When he apologized, made a huge offering, and renewed his commitment, the pinching and thumping stopped immediately. The final story I want to share highlights the dangerous side, involving a Prai Kuman, one of the more ferocious type. A man known only as Andrew, not his real name, was reportedly in a legal dispute with a business partner who had cheated him out of a massive amount of money. Out of option and consumed by anger, Andrew purchased a powerful Prai Kuman amulet from a black magic practitioner. He was instructed to activate it by feeding it his own blood via repeated finger pricks. He made a vow to the child spirit: cause my partner pain, make him suffer, and I will feed you with my blood and whatever you desire. A month later, the business partner was in a catastrophic car accident. He survived but was hospitalized with severe life-altering injuries. Andrew got his revenge, but the child had gained an appetite. After the accident, the Prai Kuman allegedly began demanding blood daily. When Andrew missed a feeding, he would wake up with a massive, deep purple bruises on his legs and back, as if a child had been kicking and biting him. Friends who saw him reported that Andrew became pale, anxious shadow of his former self, covered in healing cuts on his fingers, seemingly locked in a binding pack with a force he could no longer control. The curse he placed on his enemy had found a new target: himself. The story of the Kumanthong is a perfect example of how the ancient, gruesome world of black magic refuses to be erased. It just adapts. What started as the brutal surgical creation of a sorcery king has evolved into a consumer product, a gilded figure that promises luck in exchange for red soda and toys. I have incredible respect for Thai culture and beliefs, and the modern temple-blessed Kumanthong practice is one of compassion for lost spirits. But we must never forget the origin of the Golden Boy title. It is a child's soul, bound by ancient necromancy, made from the very real and horrific price of death and magic. To live with a Kumanthong is to share your life with a powerful, childlike entity that will either elevate you or, if you are not careful, pull you down into its own dark, violent history. What about you? If you knew it would bring you immense wealth and protection, would you ever adopt a modern Kumanthong and care for it like your own child? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. This topic always sparks such fascinating discussion. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode of Kin and Gap Paranormal Tales. We have so many more spine-tingling tales from Asia and beyond to get through. If you have any personal experiences with a Kumanthong, a look trap, or any other household spirit entity, please comment down below. With that, we come to the end of the video. Remember to be safe and stay curious. I'll see you in the next episode.
Hey there! Need more scary folklore or story from Southeast Asia? Watch one of these two videos right here.